30 years ago, Berlin was divided by an infamous wall. Today, it's a vibrant, unified European capital. Hardly any other European city has experienced such a turbulent history. Hardly any other city has changed so quickly. Photographer Gottfried Schenk, who moved to Berlin in the 1970s, has photographs showing how the city has been transformed.
For a photographer, Berlin is of course an El Dorado with limitless possibilities for creative photography. Berlin is a perfect city to compare similar photos because it's a city of permanent change.
Today's Berlin is a tourist hotspot. One of the questions most frequently asked by visitors from around the world is, where is the wall? Schenk still remembers vividly how the wall gradually disappeared from the landscape.
When I look at some pictures, I feel gratitude and happiness. For example, the pictures of the wall in Steinstücken with the overturned watchtower. I always say to myself, how beautiful. I've lived and experienced what it was like with the wall and the feeling of being walled in. And now it's gone, and we are free.
Former Chancellor Willy Brandt famously once said about the reunification of East and West Germany, "What grows together belongs together." Berlin has become one city, and its architecture is evidence that the difference between East and West has faded and in some cases even disappeared.
Right after the fall of the wall, the East was still really authentic. During the whole of the 90s, it was still like that. But then came the reconstruction of the East. Before, there were grey and dilapidated facades, but then they renovated the houses. But for the people in their heads, this process is not yet finished.
With the fall of the wall, the former GDR disappeared. It now lives on only in people's memories. The so-called children of the reunification, born around 1989, have never known the former GDR, but still often identify as being from East Germany.
I believe the wall is in people's heads. This East-West thing is definitely still present among young people.
Journalist Johannes Nickelmann, who is himself a child of the reunification, writes in his book about growing up with very conflicting tales of life in former East Germany. In the anecdotes recounted by parents and grandparents, life in the GDR was often good.
On one hand, it was a 40-year holiday by the Baltic Sea and everything was sunny and nice. And on the other is the media narrative, which was always 40 years of Stasi jail, barbed wire and everything was bad. But there must be something in between, and I believe we have not discussed enough within our families in East German society and in the media.
He believes breaking the silence within families would bring about a better understanding of the past. As for the future, Nickelmann says it would be helpful to stop referring all the time to the East and the West and stop drawing distinctions.
I believe that we must understand the problems as pan-German problems, whether it's the extreme right or the consequences of globalization or structural change or emigration. This is often attributed to this exotic idea of East Germany.
It's an ongoing process. Divisions about the wall are slowly but surely shrinking with each generation.
My crystal ball tells me for the next generation it will probably have faded away. I now have a 3-year-old nephew. I hope that when he's an adult, he won't be bothered by it anymore.